Farming is probably one of the most overpowered and underused aspects of Rust. With it, you can make yourself a ton of scrap, make any vanilla server seem like it's modded with boosted farm rates, or even give yourself a massive advantage in PvP. Of course, to make any of that happen, you'll need yourself an efficient farm base. And today's base is just that. Costing little more than a starter 2x2 and with an upkeep of less than a node a day, building this in addition to your main or even as your starter can make your journey in Rust so much easier. Keeping your plants energized and hydrated is incredibly important to grow them quickly and efficiently. And while we will be covering that shortly, it's not the only thing that needs to be energized and hydrated. I love caffeine, but a lot of energy drinks leave something to be desired, and I put way too much sugar in my coffee. However, for the last year, I've cut that down a lot. It's around that time that I discovered Gamersupps. Coming at me claiming to have no sugar, no additives, and still be delicious, I was a little skeptical, especially given how much cheaper it was than some of its competitors. However, after arriving and throwing in a very tiny scoop and giving it a quick shake, I gave it a go and there was no going back. This sweetener didn't leave that terrible taste a lot of them do, and the only problem I had was that I wanted to drink it like a juice. Thankfully, Gamersupps has a caffeinated and non-caffeinated version. Packed with your most crucial everyday vitamins using an organic caffeine and being keto friendly, there was no going back and I was absolutely hooked. If you're tired of that crash after your coffee or your room filling up with overpriced cans, it's time to make the switch. And right now and for the next 24 hours, if you use my code, you'll get free shipping on any order so you can try out Gamersupps absolutely free. All you gotta do is go ahead and order your sample pack and make sure to use my code REX. And after that 24 hours, or when you're ready to reorder, using code REX will give you 10% off and help support the channel at the same time. One of my personal favorites used to be Blue Raz, but since trying Titty Milk, I have to stop myself from drinking it too much. Building the base itself is fairly simple. We're gonna start off by finding a nice, beautiful river to ourselves, going out a little ways in, and making sure we build above the water line. If you see any water on your foundations, you might run into some trouble. Next, we go ahead and close things off like so, placing our doorway here, and surrounding everything in. From this point, we can place our TC over here. And this part is personal preference, but I do prefer the window for early security. And then we're gonna place 2 half walls over here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and place our starter boxes, and we're gonna start with one very tight in this back corner, and you wanna make sure it is really tight against those walls. And then we're gonna place a second one equally as tight right here. And then our workbench can go right here. And this will give us still easy access to our TC and plenty of movement. Now, one thing, we do not have an airlock early, and I do not recommend placing this doorway early, as it is going to cause some issues when trying to place your planters. Now, obviously, I haven't placed this far enough back because I can't place my double door. When done correctly, you should be able to place a double door at any point, but we don't want to do that yet. Now, if you are running out of storage because you might want to use this as a starter base, you can very easily slap a couple small boxes here. But I would hold off on the final small box until you're ready with your tier 2. Next, we must go out and farm because we need our planter boxes. Once you've acquired 3 planter boxes, we can place our first here, our second here, and you do notice they kind of snap to the ground. The direction does not matter at all, it's all about the aesthetics. So I do want them all going in the same direction. Of course, I'm getting some difficulties snapping. It is fighting with me. There we go. I had to fight it. If you are running into issues placing, you can always hold shift and that will get rid of the snapping. Next, we can place our double doorways. Now, of course, in the end, these should be garage doors, but early game, you can use single door or double doors. But garage doors will give you the best movement. Of course, once you get those garage doors, slap them on as quick as possible. The direction doesn't matter too much until you get to this one, where you do want to make sure that the roller is on this side, and that's just going to properly cover all your boxes in here. When you're eventually ready to replace this tier 1 with a tier 2, if you decide to do so, because this isn't usually a main base, but if you decide to place a tier 2, you're going to want to place it right here, and it's at this point you could place your shelf. Now, if you place the shelf early for extra storage, do not upgrade beyond wood so that you can very easily destroy that, because you'll notice that you can no longer place workbenches if you have the shelf in place. But of course, about 1 minute with a sword on the soft side can destroy that. So if you need the shelf early, it's not a big issue. Once you've got this shelf placed, at this point we can actually secure 2 more small boxes under here, and I'm actually going to open the door just so I can get better positioning. And that's going to be the maximum storage there. And then up here, we're going to place 1 box very snugly back in the corner. And this one's a little difficult to place, but sometimes it goes very easy. And you'll notice, of course, your garage door still covers it nicely. Now with a build like this, they never really know, and a lot of people are going to assume your TC is over here, causing them to blow into this room instead. Now the only reason we had to use these 2 half walls is to place this shelf. If you place the shelf early with a tier 1 and you know you're not going to be upgraded to a tier 2, you don't need to do the 2 half wall. It's a very small extra cost for the convenience that it provides. Regardless of that, we're ready to move on to actually making this farm run. Some of the things that we're going to need to turn this farm into a functional farm is a water pump, a solar panel, 2 lights, 2 sprinklers, and a battery. Now that we've got the supplies, we come outside and we start expanding, building ourselves a temporary triangle. We're then going to be able to place our water pump in here. And you're going to want to come from this corner, placing it kind of tight in. You're going to want to go as tight to the right as possible. Now, if you are in deeper water, it does make getting through this doorway a lot easier. And you'll want to check that you can place this. This may take a couple attempts to get the placement correct, as it really doesn't like fitting in this tight spot. But once you get a nice spot like so, we can upgrade. We're going to place 3 doorways right here, or you can just do the 1 for now. And we're going to close this off. Of course, upgrade your roof pieces. And there we go. From here, we're going to place a battery right here. And I do recommend using a medium battery. And then we're going to get a doorway placed right here. This spot on the left is for a vending machine. You don't need it, and if you don't plan on using a vending machine, absolutely just place a wall. For your electricity, we are going to need to wire up our solar panel. Going to the roof, you're going to want to find north, look to the east, and look to the west. The sun will rise in the east, go across the northern sky, and set in the west. That means if you place your solar panel facing the south, you will get minimal sun. If you place it facing directly north, you will get the most possible sun. We're then going to wire this down, and 1 solar panel will power this entire farm. Coming inside, simply click this up to our battery, and then we're going to need a switch. I know a switch wasn't part of the original plan, but it makes the ability to turn it on and off present. We can wire this directly to that switch. And let's get our lights up. For your lights, you're going to come to this part of your ceiling, and we're going to place it directly in the middle. And you're only going to need to place 2 lights, 1 here and 1 here. If your ceiling pieces don't look like this, try changing your graphics. Different graphics settings will change the look of your ceiling pieces. From this point, we can actually wire this up directly to the lights. How you wire it is entirely up to you and your aesthetics. Because some savages will just go directly across like this. And then we're going to take the pass through from this and come right back. I'm just going to run it along the wire for my sanity. And we're going to come to this side and bring that all the way down into the pump. The pump will immediately start working once you flick that switch. You'll notice your lights are going and everything is in order. Next, we're going to want to grab our sprinklers, and we only need 2 of them. Place these, we are going to come right here, and we're going to want to bring it kind of right against it, but I do like to go a little further back, about right here. And we're going to place the same thing about right here. We grab our hose tool, connect it from the water output, Run that along. Run that in. Grab that pass through. And there it is. You now have your entire farm farming. It is literally that simple. Now, just to double check that everything is functioning properly, you can go ahead and grab a seed, come on over to your back corners, and you should be able to see that once planted, it is indeed getting both light and water. Now, the water does take a while to build up because we just turned it on, so don't worry, as long as you see it go up from 0, that means it is functioning properly. Next, all you need to do is get some seeds to fill it out, and you're gardening. Of course, if you do get fertilizer to add, you can always very easily access it like so, and that will help grow them a little faster. Whether you're growing cloth to sell to bandit camp for scrap, or you're growing berries to make teas for yourself or to sell to other players, this base is going to completely change your wipe. Of course, this is only one way to make scrap, and one base that really complements this one is this video right here in the upper left corner. Have you guys ever tried Gamersupps before? Let me know your favorites down below in the comments if you have. And if you're looking for a suggestion, Misfit Melon is absolutely delicious. Until next time, enjoy your wipe and peace out.